evolution and why exactly is that important. Now, a lot of people set this goal of becoming rich, and when they actually hit that target, they start feeling numb again and they are just not motivated to actually move forward. Okay. And I'm warning you about this even before I teach you how you can make millions. And the reason I'm doing this is because there was no one out there to tell me about this particular concept. Now, what do I mean by this? See, the purpose of life, if you're wondering what exactly is it, honestly, it's evolution, right? What does that mean? Well, it basically means whoever you are in whatever area of your life, the next day, if you wake up and you're the same or you're regressing, naturally as a human being, you will start feeling more depressed. This is why you might have noticed people who are unemployed are super depressed. In fact, my own father, he had a really awesome career for years and years, right? But when he turned 56 or 57, around the COVID time, his business started taking a hit. And he decided, you know what, I don't have to take all this stress, so I might as well just retire. But the thing is, when he did retire, he started to feel absolutely numb because he was so bored out of his mind. He thought that I would, chill by the beach, have some margaritas or whatever, dreams that people have. Unfortunately, it did not pan out the same because I personally believe that in life, if you want to consistently feel happy, you want to feel great about yourself, you want to, feel motivated, then you must work towards evolution and making progress. And that progress should not only be measured in terms of money. Why? Because honestly, monetary targets often get achieved. And once you achieve them, then you do not know what to do next. Now, how did this happen with me and how does this apply to you? Well, when I was 20 years old, or I think 19, I had just one goal, and that goal was to make $10,000 a month. Now, this is way before I was even a millionaire. And I wanted to just achieve that target so bad that I was working like crazy, probably like 14 hours a day. I would do webinars out of webinars. I would do, I would post content almost every week and whatnot. And what started to happen is eventually, I think the first month, of course, I didn't hit it. A year later, I did not hit it. And maybe a year and a half later or something like that, I remember I ended up making $10,000 within a week. So essentially, I just hosted a webinar and a lot of people joined and I just, sold them my product. And at the end, I just said, hey, come book a one-on-one call with me. I sold them a $3,000 product. And within a week, I basically ended up signing 3-4 clients and boom, my $10,000 a month target was achieved. Now, a lot of people might wonder that, hey, Rohan, once you achieve that target, you must feel so great, right? You might be like, oh my God, I've done everything in life, right? Unfortunately, it did not work out like that. I was feeling super depressed. I was like, okay, I've done this. Now what do I do? And for me back then, I was a 20-year-old kid, right? $10,000 was decent enough money for me to just, have a decent lifestyle. And I did not need more money than that. And majority of that money was just my profits because I wasn't running much advertisement. I did not have much labor costs, etc., etc. So life was pretty good. Yet I was feeling depressed until I started reading books like Man's Search for Meaning. If you've read that book, it's a great one. I started reading more about Ray Dalio's principles and a lot more things till the time I really understood that if you're going to set monetary objectives as your goal, and if you're going to set those objectives just to prove to other people who doubted you once, you're going to lead to a pathway of disaster. Okay. And that is something that you must understand. So that is why, this evolution, it's pretty critical. And your understanding of the same is pretty critical. Because when I did achieve this $10,000 a month mark, I thought, I will finally be able to prove to my school friends that, hey, you doubted me. Look, I did it. All those teachers who said I couldn't pass school, look, I make so much more than you, right? But nobody was there. And quite frankly, nobody cares. And they are so busy in their own life that they don't have time to look or care about what I'm doing, right? So that's why that reality shift was really, really important for me. And the next thing that I also realized, I started studying about, founders of companies, giant companies like Google, right? Sergey Brin and Larry Page. And what I learned about them after reading their shareholder letters is that Google doesn't set monetary objectives necessarily, because it's Google. They know that they will eventually hit those targets because of how talented they are. That's why Google usually sets objectives which they may not be even able to achieve the same within the time span that they are currently in. For example, Google has this objective or goal of taking all the information on Earth and putting it online and making it searchable. Okay, one thing that they did is with Google Maps, they literally took all maps on Earth and literally scanned them and put them on the internet, and now you can finally use Google Maps. So the mission that they have is like, because think about this, there's so much information out there, right? And putting it all on the internet and making it accessible and searchable, it could take decades, a lifetime, or chances are that it may not even happen, right? However, the fact that Google set an objective like that makes them want to continue, and keep moving forward in the long term. Because Google's founders, they are like multi-billionaires, right? I don't think money is like a big concern for them. So that's why this keeps them motivated, and this makes them want to keep going on and keep evolving. And that's the key word, okay? And if you do not evolve in today's time, you will be left behind. Because think about this, right? Back in the days, there was a company called as Walmart. It still is, right? They were like the go-to store for everything. They still are the go-to store. People would go buy their groceries and all that stuff. However, Walmart was so focused on whatever they were doing that they did not get time to evolve. And guess what? Who was working behind the scenes? It was Amazon, who realized that, hey, there is internet. It's a great opportunity, and it could make commerce a lot accessible to people. And boom, Amazon came, innovated, and now they are much more valuable than Walmart, right? So similarly, you should also try to understand that your goal should not be just to become a millionaire, but there should be a deeper purpose behind it. And for some of you watching this video, you might not be able to relate to this, because you'd be like, dude, I have like my rent due, or I have like, liabilities or loan to pay, right? So I completely understand and sympathize with you. Chances are that once you are able to free yourself from these liabilities and whatnot, you might be able to unlock this perspective. However, try to practice it from day one itself, that other than seeing that bank account balance go up and up, also see that, look, I'm making so much progress in life.